Hello, everybody. Dead Shot Duo Podcast, episode 54. This is messing Alex with the intro. How are you doing, Alex?
I'm doing pretty well. How are you, Andy?
All right.
Just all right?
Fine. Oh, I don't mind. lights on. So unprofessional.
What's up? What? Wait, what?
So unprofessional. I'm sorry. For the video listeners, I apologize.
What?
I'll step it up next time.
Oh, okay. I didn't know what you were even talking about there.
There you go.
It kind of threw me off a little bit. So, yeah. How was your week, Andy?
Not fine, I guess.
Really?
That's my response.
Anything exciting happen? Maybe?
No.
Okay. Same old, same old.
Yeah,
my week was pretty non-eventful. I've been on the job hunt, so I've been applying to every place that I might be able to do a good job and might pay me well and all that. I'm trying to be selective, and then I'll probably get very desperate over the course of time because that's how it kind of goes. But
do you live near where you grew up?
Yeah, I was born and raised in Ocoee, Florida, and I live in Ocoee, Florida. So yeah,
you should get a job at the pizza place you worked at for a day. For the memes.
It's kind of funny you mentioned that because Ashley was saying, like, this is an opportunity for you, Alex. Like, while you're on the job hunt, you could probably get some BS jobs that you really don't even care about and have some fun with it. I even thought about, like, applying to GameStop and seeing if they would hire me back as a part-timer. Just go in there and just tell people the truth. I don't even want to be...
Criticize the GM too. Like, oh, you're...
Yeah. I don't even want to be, like, rude to customers. I just want to tell them the truth. Like, oh, man, I want to return this game. It stinks. And I'll be like, yeah, tried to tell you when you bought it. Here's your money back. I don't even want to be rude. I just want to tell the truth.
When I was mad, like at the Cinemark,
yeah.
People would be like, what'd you think of this movie? They're like, oh, I'm about to watch this movie. And I'd be like, I would skip it if I were you.
Yeah.
Get a refund.
I was always pretty honest with people at GameStop. What I did find out is what I've found out now with, like, just about everything. When it comes to movies, music, TV shows, video games, DCD Film Club, I tend to like things more than most other people do. So, like, I'll see the good in something that may not be there. Good example would be Superman Returns on Xbox 360 and PS3. Like, I thought that game was good. I thought it was fun. You got to play as Superman. It was tight. The flying was spot on. It was perfect. There were some bad parts to the game. There were some bad aspects of the game. But people would ask me how it was, and I'd be like, I liked it. And then they bring it back. They'd be like, you said this game was good. And I'd be like, yeah, but I liked it. It's like,
that's a segue.
Stop at me.
So that game, it's the second best Superman game compared to Superman 64.
Oh, I don't know if I could post on that one.
Segueing that to Nintendo.
Yeah.
Alex, on episode 2 of DCD, you said you were going to do a Let's Play of Mario RPG on your channel. Where is it?
I totally forgot that I said I was going to do that, and that's a good idea. If I wasn't in the middle of the podcast, I'd probably put that on my whiteboard right now.
Second fun fact. Oh, never mind. Continue, sorry.
Oh, right now I'm working on a Link's Awakening playthrough on the channel. So,
second fun fact.
Okay.
Sonic the Hedgehog would have came out today if it didn't get delayed.
Ooh, the feels.
Or this weekend.
Yeah, the feels, man. I'm looking forward to the new one. I don't want to get off on a tangent on this one, but multiple people have asked me, like, am I upset with the redesign, or do I like the redesign or dislike the redesign, and am I okay with the delay? I just want to make a good Sonic movie. That's all I really care about. And I think that the redesign overall is a positive thing. So I don't care. I'm not upset with what they did. I like the original design, but I can see why people didn't love it, if that makes sense. So looking forward to it eventually coming out. I'll be there day one in the theater.
Yeah.
There aren't many
Alex,
movies
what have you been playing / watching?
Well, I have been playing Call of Duty, Modern Warfare, and I've been really enjoying that. Got to play it with you, Andy, and Mole, and Rain Ravens, and unfortunately wasn't able to play it with Colby. Was really looking forward to playing with him. And I love the game, even though I'm not very good at it right now, I think I'll eventually get better. Hopefully, maybe. But it's been good. And then World of Warcraft. I've been taking a break from Madden. I know everybody's thinking I'm going to say Madden. I haven't even booted up Madden, I think, for at least maybe a week. It's been kind of refreshing, and I'll like getting back into it. I mean, it's just sometimes it's good to take like a week away from Madden. And then this week, I've been watching, obviously, DCD Film Club pick Apocalypse Now. I opted to watch the final cut of it, which is over 3 hours long. I know that sounds crazy because I always complain about movie length, but I will make an exception for Apocalypse Now. Also finished Jack Ryan Season 2 on Amazon Prime. It is outstanding. I love that show. I love John Krasinski as Jack Ryan. I think he's the best Jack Ryan. They've had multiple people play Jack Ryan over the years. I think he's really the best, and really strong season. Looking forward to season 3, and that's pretty much it. What have you been playing and watching this week, Andy?
We played COD.
Okay.
Played some TV2s. Played some Madden regs because I just hate myself.
Yeah.
I've been getting into MLB The Show just randomly.
Okay.
Playing a game of March to October with the Reds as my team. And then watching. Oh boy, let's get in this. The Changeling, The Evil Dead, Trick or Treat again. Watch it with my mom on Halloween. Possum, the entire series of Creepshow, Shudder, like exclusive Creepshow TV show.
Okay.
The King, Nightingale, Wings, American Son, The Broadway Melody, Jenny Slate's comedy special Stage Fright, Danny DeVito and The Contract, Bo Burnham special Make Happy, All Quiet on the Western Front, The Man Without Gravity, It Happened One Night, Apocalypse Now, The Hunchback of Notre Dame, the original with Lon Chaney, Burning Cane. Fun fact, there's an Apocalypse Now poster in that movie.
Oh, wow.
Mutiny on the Bounty. Fun fact, Marlon Brando, one of the stars of Apocalypse Now, is in the remake of that movie. That's it. That's all.
Well, that's quite the list, man.
Yeah.
So, I feel like I've been slacking because I can't believe you've watched that much stuff. It's pretty cool that you watched Trick or Treat with your mom. How'd she like it?
She likes everything.
Oh, she does? Okay. Well.
She liked the Halloween movie with Busta Rhymes.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Halloween's her favorite franchise, but she even likes the one with Busta Rhymes.
Yeah. That series kind of went off the rails a little bit. Not quite Leprechaun off the rails, or Leprechaun in the Hood or whatever, which is actually...
What?
You know what, man? It has Coolio in it, number 1. And 2, a huge Coolio stan over here, man. But in addition, it has some great dialogue, and it makes for a great bad movie night. It's great.
Yeah, nothing went off the rails more than Hellraiser. Like,
Hellraiser got really weird. Yeah,
there was a video game version of it. The video game one's wild, starring Henry Cavill. Then there's several detective ones that, past the third one, they completely forget what made the first couple special. I mean, the first 2 are the good ones, and the third one's like it's a guilty pleasure.
Yeah, I mean,
and the rest of them are stupid.
You know, the Jason franchise, which I guess I always considered the Jason movies kind of an extension of Friday the 13th as a series. I don't know. Somebody could probably correct me on that, but like they got really weird there for a while.
But it took a while though. Like the 6th one is the best in the franchise.
Yeah, but at one point,
other franchises where like it's like one the best, like Texas Chainsaw, Halloween, Hellraiser, one's the best in all those.
Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. Maybe we'll revisit that on a future film club. Anyway, on to listener questions. This one comes from @ReasonsUnBroke on Twitter, Daniel, former guest on DCD as well. He asks, have you experienced any major benefits or problems with cross-platform play on Call of Duty? Andy, I'll let you lead off since you're kind of the COD guy.
No, nothing. There's no benefit besides I can play with PS4 players. Problems, nothing. Like, I literally, if I didn't know it was there, like, I wouldn't change, like, It's not noticeable at all, I guess, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I feel like my answer is going to be pretty boring on this one. So as far as problems, I can just say no. I haven't had any, and I'm with Andy. You wouldn't even know it was there if it wasn't an announced feature in the game, or maybe like if you didn't have to create an Activision ID, you totally wouldn't know.
Yeah.
As far as benefits, I'm going to disagree. I think that it is a major benefit. I think it's a huge positive for gaming that a AAA title has cross-platform play like Call of Duty.
Fortnite.
Well, okay, but Fortnite's a free-to-play game. I'm talking about a $60 big budget AAA title having cross-platform play. I think it's a major positive.
Fortnite is $60 and big budget.
Okay, I'm not going to argue that point. I'm gonna.
I got you there.
I'm gonna lose that argument, but I think that Fortnite and COD are two very different products from a consumer standpoint. Obviously. Oh, okay. So, because I've had people argue that on me before, but I think it's a major benefit, and I think that it's something that when I see how well it's worked in Call of Duty, I go, why can't this be a thing in Madden? And there's other games that have done this exceptionally well too. The first one that springs to my mind is Rocket League. Rocket League has done really well with cross-platform play in a way that you wouldn't even know you're playing with a PC player. And going all the way back to the first real cross-platform game on consoles that I can think of, Shadowrun from 2007 on Xbox 360, gave you the ability to play with PC players. And once again, when you would play that, it was done so well that somebody would they get on their mic, they'd be like, I'm on PC, and you'd be like, oh wow, that's kind of cool. So if it's done right, you don't notice it at all, and it just shows like that it's working. So overall, it's a huge win, and I can't say this enough. Madden needs to make this happen. Like it would be a huge boon for them.
The only thing I could think of reasons not to do it in Madden, which isn't a thing anymore now, was like the EA access only on Xbox to get 10% off packs.
Yeah.
Because it changes the market. But that's not a thing anymore. They have EA access now.
I mean, I feel like that and the auction house might make it a little bit hard to do, but even then, I think it can be done. I mean, so
I don't know.
I don't
know how to make a game. I've never made a game, so I couldn't tell you if it was difficult or hard to do that.
I know it's difficult to do, and that's why I think EA won't do it, but I think they should.
I mean, putting effort in Madden. What? Next topic.
Next topic.
Will Cam Newton be in Carolina next year? And if not, where do you think he ends up? Question from Brian Shoop. I always feel like I'm mispronouncing his last name.
I think it's Shope. Brian, tweet us and tell us how to pronounce your name, man. I know you've probably told me before, and I'm so sorry, but I hate mispronouncing someone's last name if I can avoid it. Andy, I'm going to let you lead off on this one. I did a little bit of research on this one just to frame up this question. The reason Brian's asking this is obviously Cam Newton got moved to the IR yesterday. It's the end of his season. And he does have another year left on his contract, but if the Panthers were to trade him or cut him or whatever, they'd only face $2 million in dead cap penalties. So it does kind of raise the question: will he be there next year? Andy, what do you think on this one?
He'll be there next year, and he'll be there for the rest of his career, probably. It's the Matthew Stafford effect. Where your quarterback's good enough to where it's not feasible to replace him. Like, you're not going to find a better quarterback on the market. But he's not good enough to carry. Like, obviously, 2015, Cam Newton, incredible MVP. Recently, he hasn't been good enough to carry you to a championship. So it's like Matthew Stafford.
I don't know.
I mean, that's
a good point.
There's the whole vegan argument on Joe Rogan podcast. If you can just get him to eat meat, he'll be great. It's just a coincidence that at 2015 he was MVP. Next year he's a vegan. He falls off. But I also was being like, oh, let's be fun. And if he were to leave, what team he would go to? And I think the perfect spot for him would be the New York Jets. if they're giving up on Sam Darnold.
Yeah, that's an intriguing possibility.
It's like a perfect city for him.
Yeah.
And they have a ton of cap room. They have him and Le'Veon Bell.
Fair enough. That's a good one to think about. I didn't see that one, but now that you say it, it just makes so much sense. So, like me personally, I'm a big fan of Cam Newton. I think that 2015, the MVP year, he was outstanding. I don't think there was a better quarterback in football that particular year. Since then, I know he's been a little bit off. I think part of that's injuries. I think part of that's mental and personnel as well. He hasn't really had the best receiving core. You know, Devin Funchess and Kelvin Benjamin, they kind of were disappointments, you know, other than the 1 year where Kelvin Benjamin was just like lights out. And you look at Funchess and Benjamin's career after leaving Carolina, it hasn't been overwhelmingly positive. So overall, I think he will still be in Carolina. I think he's the face of the franchise. I think he's still the best quarterback on that roster. And that's no disrespect to Will Grier or Kyle Allen, but I do think Cam Newton gives Carolina the absolute what? What are you laughing about, man?
Sports Network.
Well,
What?
he's not the person to ask about that because he's a fan and there's some bias in there.
When you said Will Grier first, reminded me at the beginning of the season, he was like, I hope Cam Newton gets hurt so Will Grier will start.
Yeah, that was a bad take. And I think everybody shamed him in my Discord server for saying that because I am like unilaterally against rooting for player injuries. I don't like Tom Brady at all. If he tore his ACL tomorrow, I'd feel bad for him because he's a human being. So Cam Newton, I think, is the face of that franchise. I think he'll still be there. Now, if they do move on from him, which I think would be a mistake, I think they probably release him. I don't know that he carries much trade value.
I mean, you get a pick out of it.
You'd probably get a pick out of it, but, you know.
Like a 4th-round pick.
Yeah, it might be a situation where they could get that, but I think the one landing spot to me that makes a lot of sense is the Tennessee Titans. I think the Titans are ready to move on from Mariota. I don't think that Mariota is going to be getting an extension. Ryan Tannehill getting his starting slot over him kind of proves that to me. And I think, you know, Tennessee does have a good surrounding core that Cam Newton might be pretty good with. I do think they'd have to kind of shore up their receiving core a little bit more. But other than that, I think he'd be a huge benefit to them. But I think he stays in Carolina, I mean, at the end of the day. So thanks for the question, Brian. We really appreciate it, man. Thanks for being a listener. Next topic here is one that I wanted to talk about. Death Stranding on the PS4. It's coming out this Friday. So when you listen to this, it will have been out for a couple days. A huge marketing campaign behind it.
Get it early. Just give us $1.
Getting it early, yeah. We're going to talk about that later. We got a new Patreon backer.
Patron.
And patron. There you go. So Death Stranding coming out November 8th, and it was announced, or I guess I should say that they reminded people, because this game, when it was announced, was always supposed to eventually come out on PC. But somehow, some way, PS4 fanboys had it in their head that this was only going to be on PS4 ever, period, point blank. And because it's coming out on PC, there was a slew of people on Twitter, and if you don't believe me, go on Twitter and search for it, canceling their pre-orders just because it won't only be on PS4. Even though it's coming out, I think, 10 months later on PC. So I just wanted to go on a little bit of a rant, and then we'll let Andy say whatever he wants to say here. I think it's ridiculous to cancel a pre-order of a game that you've supposedly been looking forward to just because it's coming out on another console. And some of the conspiracy theories that I've seen surrounding this are ridiculous. At one point, I saw someone claiming that somebody paid the makers of Death Stranding to go back on their word and screw Sony out of an exclusive, and Kojima's studio took all this money to not make it an exclusive, and it's all about money, and because they're betraying the PS4 fan base. We're canceling our pre-orders right away. It's ridiculous, man. Like, if you're looking forward to a game, did you just take a shot?
It was a bit for the video listeners.
I love it. I knew this topic was going to annoy the out of Andy. But seriously, man, is it not ridiculous to cancel a pre-order just because it's not going to be an exclusive? Would you ever do that, Andy?
No.
I don't care if it comes out on something else.
I'm a rational human being.
I just want the game. Like, if Halo, I know it would never happen, but if tomorrow they're like, yeah, Halo's coming out on Switch.
Cool.
Or countless Xbox titles.
Does it change the product at all? No.
No, countless Xbox titles with things like Xbox Live Play Anywhere, right? Forza immediately springs to mind. Gears of War, Minecraft, soon to be Halo, because they're bringing Halo Master Chief Collection over to Oh, well, there you go. It's already there. So if you have Game
Gears
Pass,
5's there.
Yeah, if you have Game Pass like I did, and I actually went out and repurchased Game Pass at Walmart. Thanks, Walmart. So
I get Game Pass Ultimate, bro. $15 a month.
Use
discount code DCD for 0% off.
Yeah. Terrible plug. I love it though. So Microsoft, please sponsor us. I'll take money from you. So yeah, we're used to this on the Xbox side, like Forza, and to me it's a benefit because with Xbox Live Play Anywhere, if I have Game Pass, I could play it on my Xbox, I could play it on my PC, and I love my Xbox One X to death, but my PC puts out better graphics. Sorry, it just does.
That's what I was about to say. I was like, oh, someone's gonna play the game in better graphics than me? Cry. That's it.
And what annoys me the most about it is the people that I've seen complaining, the people that I know personally who were upset by this, they don't even have a gaming PC. I think they have a PC, but they don't game on it, right? So why do you even care? It's not even an issue for you. It blows my mind that in 2019 people are still championing their hunk of plastic of choice. It's just a box with PC parts in it, and eventually it's all going to be cross-platform anyway, because that's where everything's heading, cross-platform.
Yeah.
And at that point, unless you're being paid by Sony or Microsoft, why are you shilling for them? But Microsoft, please sponsor us.
To another topic I care a little about. BlizzCon 2019 brings announcements of new WoW expansion, Diablo 4 and Overwatch 2.
I don't even know why I put stuff like this on there. Because Andy just immediately takes a big steamy dump right all over it. I thought BlizzCon 20... I just want to put this on there for the people that might listen for my World of Warcraft or Blizzard commentary that I frequently talk about on here. And we've talked about World of Warcraft at length on this show.
It's a two-man show. It's not just me,
I know.
Talk about
Andy used to play World of Warcraft.
No.
Yeah, you
never
did.
used to. I played it for a day.
You played it.
I played it for 2 hours, and I broke the game.
In 5 minutes. It took you 5 minutes and you broke the game, and I was like, wow, I'm just impressed. That someone could pick the game up and immediately break it. But yeah, I thought BlizzCon 2019 was really good. I wanted to throw that on the show notes and just talk about the new WoW expansion. It sounds really cool. They didn't give us many details, but the idea is that you go into the afterlife in this expansion, so there's going to be some pretty cool quests surrounding that. I really liked the last expansion, so this one I'm excited for. I know most people didn't like Battle for Azeroth as much, so hopefully the general public likes it more. Also, Diablo 4. You don't play Diablo? You never played Diablo, Andy?
Who do you think I am? I never played WoW until Jared submitted it.
I don't know. Diablo's a little bit more mainstream, especially Diablo 3 when it came out on consoles. It was a huge hit. Play it co-op.
WoW at one point was the biggest game ever.
Okay, would you play Diablo with me?
WoW is a household name.
Would you play Diablo with me? It's co-op.
I would rather kill myself than play
Okay,
Diablo.
well, Diablo 4 coming out. Looks really good.
It sounds bad because I wasn't expecting you to say with me. I feel bad for that part.
No, it's fine, dude. It's totally good. I see how it is now. Diablo 4, I'm really stoked for this one. Fans have been wanting Diablo 4 for a long time, and WoW has continued to kind of troll fans with it. Like, they announced a mobile game, I think, at the last BlizzCon, and people were very upset by that because they want a traditional sequel to Diablo 3, which I thought was the best in the series and just so well done. And I played Diablo as a kid on the PC, so it's just cool that that series is still going. Overwatch 2, did you play Overwatch at all, Andy?
No.
Well, I liked the first one. Would you play Overwatch with me, Andy?
No.
Okay, well,
I'm sure Overwatch 2 will be super successful.
It looks so
the
good.
WoW expansion won't live up to its the classic expansion, as I'm saying, player-wise.
Whatever, dude. People are already
Diablo
getting...
4, everyone that enjoyed Diablo 3 will play Diablo 4. I don't see it as a game that's going to attract much new gamers.
So I'm going to disagree with you on that because they brought Diablo 3 to console, and it got... I noticed a lot of my friends picking up the console version having never touched the PC version. So if they bring Diablo 4, what I would do if I was Blizzard, and I know they're not going to do it because they take their time with everything to make sure everything's perfect before they release it, but if they could possibly bring Diablo 4 out to console day one with PC, I think it'll be a huge hit.
I don't know. I'm doing the whole thing. I had an argument with Jerome on this Twitter. The whole Twitch viewership.
Yeah?
I don't think WoW that touches the classic numbers at all. Because classic was like top game for a while, for a second.
Well, yeah, but I mean...
Overwatch will be a top 3 game for a long time.
Okay.
And then Diablo won't even touch like the top 10.
Well,
the top 5.
Because I don't
Twitch
know.
Is weird.
I hope you're
Unless
wrong.
they pay like... I was going to say Shroud, but he's on Mixer now. Pokimane to play it.
I just, like... I don't know. I think Classic is going to run its course. That's kind of where I'm at right now. Like, I think WoW is it's a really weird audience. And what I've noticed is it happens in waves. It's like Madden in a weird way. I hate to make that comparison because I think that they're two very different products in terms of quality. No offense if you're a Madden person, but like, when a new expansion releases, I see this resurgence. All these people that I haven't seen playing WoW in forever come back to the game, right? Just like Madden. When there's a new Madden, all these people who quit in November, they're back, right? And then interest wanes, and you see that slowly fall off until the next expansion. And I think Classic's going to kind of be the same way, where it's like there's this huge resurgence.
Yeah,
just like there was for Battle for Azeroth.
It's the biggest resurgence ever, though.
Well, I guess. I mean,
and they'll never top it.
Never say never.
Never do WoW Classic 2. When they re-release WoW Classic in 15 years from now. They do a live-action, shot-for-shot remake of WoW, the movie.
I could do... I just realized what you said. It took me a minute to process that. That's hilarious. I don't know, man. I hope you're wrong. I never say never when it comes to that kind of thing. And like, we could do a whole episode of me talking about WoW and what I think they need to do to be more successful and reach out to more people. But I guess I'll leave that for like a solo episode if I have to do one of those. And
Speaking of things you can talk about for a long time.
Yeah, DCD Film Club.
This week was Apocalypse Now, Alexander's pick. This is your spoiler warning. If you don't want to be spoiled from the 1979 classic Apocalypse Now, this is your time to leave. There is timestamps in the description. You can skip on to the next topic or whatever you... It's up to you. Have fun.
Tell you
get it spoiled.
Yeah, I would tell you pause the podcast, go out on Vudu. It's on sale right now in 4K for $5.99.
Or hop on a pirate ship.
Well, hey, you could watch it for free on Vudu with ads, believe it or not. So,
it's on IMDb for free too with ads.
Well, there you go. And like I would tell you, pause the podcast, watch it, and then come back and listen. But anyway, Apocalypse Now, 1979, one of my favorite movies of all time. I think it's one of the greatest movies of all time. I've seen it a number of times, and it gets better every time I watch it. It really does.
Take a shot every time Alex's time.
There you go. So, Andy, I'll give you your time to tell us So this was the first time you've seen this, right?
Yeah, first time. And I'll take my time answering this. Or talking about this movie.
I'm going to be like really self-conscious the rest of the episode now.
You said it like 3 times in a like.
I know.
It was like every other word.
I know. I feel awkward. Okay, Andy, I'll let you lead off. How'd you feel about it?
Before I talk about the movie, I need to mention. I don't know. I guess I'm talking about the movie. My first observations: the soundtrack, sick, as the Doors, Rolling Stones. I was waiting the whole time for the CCR song. Never happened because apparently that was just a YouTube video I saw that was just edited over. It was just a meme.
It wouldn't fit.
I mean, it's Vietnam. It's Forrest Gump Vietnam song.
I know. I love Forrest Gump, by the way.
The cast is insane. You're frozen for me. Am I still here?
Yeah. Yeah, you're still here.
I'm going to act like I'm still here. Marlon Brando, Martin Sheen, Robert Duvall, Dennis Hopper, super young Lawrence Fishburne, young Harrison Ford, Harvey Keitel, has Christopher Walken's brother in it, Glenn.
Wow.
In the only movie he's ever been in. It has Francis Ford Coppola directing it, coming off of Godfather 1 and 2. It was Alex, don't give me a look. It's good. I'm trying to like jump around before I talk about things. It's good. It's fine. The Vietnam War means personally a lot to me because my grandpa fought in it.
Oh wow,
so
I didn't know that.
Cool setting. It has like a cool vibe. It has like this Western vibe with Martin Sheen's character. He's like the stoic Clint Eastwood character. In the movie, he only shoots his gun once the entire time. I don't know. It's this masterpiece, and I'm not going to talk about it because we can talk about it for literally like 16 episodes about the creation of this movie. Francis Ford Coppola threatened to commit suicide several times while filming this. It took 2 years to film. The reason why there's so many cuts is because there's 240 hours of footage for this movie. And I feel like that's cooler than the actual movie, is the creation of it. The first, I guess it matters what cut you're watching.
Mm-hmm.
But the entire movie leading up to the tribe part, I really enjoyed and I loved it. But I have seen like some of the tribe parts before going into it. So the whole time I was watching the movie, I was just waiting for the part where like they're sailing in. There's all the white warriors or whatever. And it doesn't happen till the end. And then like it kind of lost me. The ending, with that being said, I feel like the ending, you can't change it like at all. It's the perfect ending. If you change it, you kind of ruin the movie. It perfectly fits the tone of the movie. But I just didn't love the ending.
Fair
and Alex
point.
is going to talk about manhood. I'm kidding. That's your typical thing. I'm just memeing you today.
Whatever,
I'm sorry.
Dude. I mean, that's a common undertone in a lot of great films is,
I didn't get that undertone here. I was just memeing you.
No, not at all. This is about humanity.
Yeah.
This isn't about masculinity. So, my thoughts on this film, I made it pretty clear early on. You guys know I think this is... I picked this for a reason. It's one of my favorite films of all time. I think it's an absolute classic. I would encourage people to watch any cut that they think is digestible. Go ahead.
Despite what I just said, it's definitely a must-see movie.
I think so. So like, I know there's a cut out there, like the theatrical cut, I believe is like right at 2 hours. I prefer the final cut. There's just a little bit more exposition, and it kind of makes other things make a little bit more sense. But, you know, I think, so from a cinematography standpoint, I think you could not have shot this movie any better. Like,
yeah, it won an Oscar for cinematography. It looks sick.
Yeah, it looks amazing. 40 years later, it looks outstanding. And there's very few films that I think can say that. You felt like you were there. I feel like it was an accurate representation of what warfare is like. You know, multiple people die
it doesn't,
on both sides.
Doesn't fantasize it.
No, it definitely doesn't. I mean, people snap, people get paranoid and do stuff that they shouldn't. You know, people lose their commanding officer and then they go rogue in this movie. There's a lot of scenarios that are very real world scenarios and things that actually happened in Vietnam with great frequency. And I think it's valuable for that. From a thematic point, I think the theme of warfare warping people to a point where they can't reacclimate into society after it's over, I think is a really, really powerful message. And it's relevant even today. Like, we see veterans from the Iraq War, Afghanistan conflict, etc., who are struggling to reacclimate to regular society now. It was even worse in Vietnam. These guys came back home and they were villains. They were vilified by the public in some cases. And, you know, it's difficult and it takes a toll on people. And what I love about this movie most is I think all great heroes have flaws. A perfect hero is boring. Right? So like Superman's kind of boring. Yeah. I like Superman, but a lot of people don't, because there's no edge, there's no flaw, there's no humanity in it. We're flawed. Every human being has flaws. Yeah. And Martin Sheen's the perfect hero in this movie. He's broken. He's you know,
even from like the beginning of the movie. I guess it depends on what cut, because I don't know the difference between the cuts because I've seen it once. Couldn't tell you which cut I watched. But even like the opening scene, it opens and he's already like, he can't reacclimate himself into, like, he still feels like he's in the jungle, but he kind of wants to go back to the jungle
because it makes sense. It's the only thing that makes sense to him anymore.
I watched All Quiet on the Western Front this week. Mm-hmm. There's very similar like themes in that, even though that movie's from the 30s. Mm-hmm. It's about World War I, where a guy, like, he goes to fight in World War I. He's like 17. He comes back. He's like 20 something. He's like, I have nothing else to do. That's all I know. Like, this is me. I
mean, it's a valuable point, and like something that we've seen throughout history, and it definitely was a factor in World War I. And like, if you want to see some really, really weird views on society, look up some of the world leaders that fought in both World War I and World War II. There are some out there, and they had a very different take on what society should look like when they got through both of those conflicts. So, like, overall, I think it's a great theme. Martin Sheen's a great hero because he's flawed. Marlon Brando is a great villain because he's sympathetic. You get his point. You empathize to a point as well. Like, you understand. You don't agree, but you understand. And I think that's what makes a villain so good. Like, even the most recent movie that I saw in theaters, Joker, the reason you like the Joker as a villain is because you sympathize, you understand it. Doesn't mean that you agree with it, but you understand where he's coming from. There's like some level of commonality, if you will. And I like, overall, I think this is Martin Sheen's greatest performance. I think it's Coppola's best film that he's ever done. That's saying a lot for both of those guys. 100%, this is Marlon Brando's greatest performance. I know that he doesn't get a lot of screen time, but I couldn't imagine anybody else doing this role. It's just that good. And Dennis Hopper was outstanding in it. I mean,
in 2 sentences, you just were like, "Oh, this movie's better than The Godfather." aka Marlon Brando and Francis Ford Coppola.
This is better than Godfather. This means something. This is a movie that holds a mirror up to society. And that's what art should do. Art should replicate life and hold a mirror up to society. And this does. And it shows what warfare does to people, how it can warp people. Yeah. And then everything else in this movie is outstanding. Like I said, cinematography, A1, acting, A1. The soundtrack was great. The sound was great. The sound design. The sets were terrific. Even the wardrobe choices that they used were great. Just from top to bottom, it's just a great movie. I don't say this often, but it's as close to a perfect film as you can get. And I know people over the years have made fun of all the cuts they've released of this film, but I think it's because of what Andy just said. Like, there's this massive amount of reel out there. Yeah. And when
if you don't know, you should look into the making of this movie.
Yeah,
like halfway through filming it, the entire set was destroyed.
Yeah, Martin Sheen suffered a heart attack in the middle of this.
Martin Sheen wasn't even the main. He wasn't even supposed to be the main actor in it.
He wasn't. It's amazing that this thing even exists, but I'm so glad that it does. Yeah. And I would hope that it leaves you with something. I always talk about like movies evoking emotion, and I really think this does, because at the end you just feel so empty. Like you feel the emptiness in Martin Sheen. Like when he turns that radio off in the boat after he's taken out Kurtz, you feel it. He's like, what was it? What's it all for, man? Like, was it worth it? It's so good. And like I said, if you haven't seen this movie, good God, go buy it. It's $6 on Vudu, or you can watch it free with ads. Andy, yeah, or you can pirate it. That's fine.
Hey, I would not advise that.
Well,
I would never, ever do that.
I'm a terrible person when it comes to this. Like, you want to pirate, road trip, fine. I don't think anybody's really going to care. But this film, it deserves to be purchased. Like, it deserves your money. Andy, out of 10, what do you rate this one?
8.
The trend continues. I gave it a 9.5. I think it's as close to a perfect. I don't think there's a perfect film out there, but I think this is as close to perfect as you could get. I put it right up there with 2001: A Space Odyssey. It's that good to me.
Well, Marlon Brando's best performance was Superman. Next topic.
That is outstanding, Andy. I did not expect that. So next topic, Nick Foles is starting over Gardner Minshew in his first game back. Why do I always call him Gordon? It even says here on my notes, Gardner Minshew. My bad. Sorry, Gardner Minshew. If you listen, I know you do.
It's not even Gardner. It's Garner. There's no D.
Wait, what?
Garner.
Hold on.
I'm pretty sure it's Graner. Garner.
No, it's Gardner. I just looked it up.
Oh, then I'm dumb.
We're both idiots.
I've been watching him since Washington State, so.
That's DC 54, everybody. Thanks for listening.
Yeah.
We're terrible.
Bye.
Okay, so, Andy, what are your thoughts on this, man? I know people have been all over the place on this.
It's stupid.
Okay. Could you expand on that?
Nick Foles has never been a good quarterback ever, besides one performance in 2014 when he threw 7 touchdowns to the Eagles. But devil's advocate, you're paying the guy $40 million this year. You gotta play him.
Yeah,
it's the Chris Davis.
Yeah. So me personally, yeah, definitely like Chris Davis. So I'm going to disagree. I think Nick Foles has been a good quarterback, and he has shown it in the past. 2013 is the year that you were talking about. where he threw 27 touchdowns and 2 interceptions in 13 games, 10 games as a starter. Next year in Philly, at 8 games, he threw 13 touchdowns to 10 interceptions. But he was 6-2 as a starter that year, but he got hurt. Obviously, he moved to St. Louis. Kansas City didn't do well in either one of those situations.
Never at any point been a top 20 quarterback.
Definitely not like that. I think that, like, so I always think about ceiling when it comes to quarterbacks, right? And, like, we've talked about that before. So, like, Lamar Jackson, I've always said he has the lowest floor, but he has the highest ceiling of any 2018 draft quarterback. You know, like, the floor for him is that he's just a complete bust, you know, and he's not in the league in a couple of years, or he has to convert to wide receiver. But, you know, the ceiling for him, as we've seen this week, is massively high. With Nick Foles, I feel like it's the exact opposite. The floor for Nick Foles is really high compared to most quarterbacks' floors, but the ceiling is super low. Like, you might get a, like, 15 to 20 tier starter performance out of Nick Foles. I don't think he'll ever be, as Andy said, like, consistently a top 20 or, like, even a top 10 quarterback. But the idea with bringing him in was he was the anti-Bortles, right? And, you know, you're paying him that much. I think you have to start him. The other thing, too, is what if he gets hot like he has done in the past and he gets the Jaguars into the playoffs? Then isn't it worth it? And then you have options. You could trade Minshew. You could maybe trade Foles. Probably not trade Foles. Probably more trade Minshew. Or at the very least, you have a good backup. You know? Do you think they'll keep, like, let's just say Foles does, you can't cut Foles. Like, there's just too much. Yeah, you can't trade him either. So, do you think they keep Minshew no matter what? Yeah.
You're paying Minshew nothing. He probably is making like $500,000 this year.
Yeah,
560, whatever minimum was. Because he wasn't a first-round draft pick or anything. He was undrafted. Or 7th round, something like that. I actually know.
6th round.
Yeah, still, he's paid nothing. And there's the age-old, like, saying that no one ever listens to, but I always say it. You're only as good as your backup quarterback.
It's true, though. I mean, it's totally true.
Like the Saints, if they didn't have Teddy Bridgewater, they would not be in playoff contention right now. They wouldn't be a top team in the league right now.
Yeah. Bridgewater really, he really came along and, like, got better. He definitely looked a lot better in the last couple games, so kept him in playoff contention. I think they only have 1 loss, right? So I mean, like, he did very well filling in.
And Nick Foles is the classic backup that keeps your season going. He's done it several times.
Well, I don't know, man. It'll be interesting to see how it plays out. If Foles comes back and stinks, you know, I kind of wonder, do they have to keep starting him with how much they're paying him? Or do you bench him and have a $20 million backup?
We said it like a couple episodes ago.
Yeah.
You just act like you're paying Gardner that money.
That's fair.
Because you're paying one guy a bajillion, paying another guy nothing.
God,
but they're also screwed in cap space anyways.
Yeah, they got a tough road ahead.
So why not just keep Gardner, and then you'll eventually have cap space. Whenever it's time to resign him, you'll have cap space, and then when you resign him, you won't have cap space. So Shan Khan, or whatever your name is, just delete the team.
You know, it's pretty weird, man, to think about.
Tom Coughlin isn't a good GM or president.
I'm going to disagree. I'm going to play devil's advocate here. So that team was one bad ref call away from going to the Super Bowl. And I know the year after they fell apart, but I think a lot of that was due to, you know, things falling apart. That's fair point. And I think Bortles really declined when he lost Allen Robinson. So I thought this was the all-in move, right? We signed Foles to a massive deal,
Yeah,
and
your cap space is ruined. You have to.
Yeah, and hopefully we win a championship, that year. But I don't know, man. It's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out in Jacksonville. Anyway, moving on to NFL Week 10. So let's do our Week 10 picks, Andy.
Last week, I went 7-7. You went 8-6.
Whoa!
Bringing our overall total to I'm at 84-60-1, and you're at 81-63-1.
Oh God, how am I? I must have had a bad week somewhere in there.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. You can look at it. It's in the notes.
Yeah, I'll have to go back and figure that out.
First game, we have the Los Angeles Chargers at the Oakland Raiders. And I'm going to go with the Los Angeles Chargers.
I'm going Chargers too, man.
Melvin Gordon's back. Finally had a good week.
Yep.
Atlanta Falcons at the New Orleans Saints. The Saints.
Yeah. God, the Falcons are so bad this year.
It's just no comment.
Yeah, Saints.
The Buffalo Bills at the Cleveland Browns. I'm going with Cleveland to get the upset.
I'm going Buffalo here, man.
We have the Detroit Lions at the Chicago Bears. I'm going to go with Detroit Lions.
Yeah, this is a tough one. I'm going to go Bears.
The Baltimore Ravens at the Cincinnati Bengals. Another division rivalry that isn't going to be close. The Ravens, obviously.
AJ Green's supposed to be back. Bengals fans are excited about that, but I still have the Ravens
tears
here.
ACL in the first week.
Ouch.
The history is in my favor.
Yeah, I know. Well, Ravens, they get an easy win here. And by the way, the Ravens really need this win. The Steelers are kind of sneaking into the division picture.
I mean, they'll win.
Yeah.
Kansas City Chiefs at the Tennessee Titans. Matt Moore gets it done again against the Tennessee Titans. Even though this is a game that the Titans will somehow win. It's a Titan, upset,
Yeah, it's a tough one for me because I do like the Titans a little bit more than I let on, but I like Matt Moore even more. So, Kansas City.
And we have the Battle of MetLife. The New York Giants at the New York Jets in New Jersey. I'm going with the New York Giants.
Yeah, Jets look really bad. Darnold, I don't know what's going on with him, so I'm going Giants.
We have the Arizona Cardinals at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Bruce Arians facing his former team. And I'm going to go with Bruce Arians and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
I've lost all faith in Tampa Bay. I'm going Cardinals.
We have the Miami Dolphins at the Indianapolis Colts. Gonna go with the Indianapolis Colts, even though Jacoby Brissett is hurt and questionable to play.
I don't care who starts for the Colts. I think they win this game, but the Dolphins really looked good last week, so they might give them a little bit of a run.
We have a pretty good game coming up. The Carolina Panthers, the first probably good game in the week. Carolina Panthers versus the Green Bay Packers. Green Bay Packers at home. Gonna go with them.
Yeah, same here. Packers at home. You got to go with them.
Los Angeles Rams at the Pittsburgh Steelers. Going with the LA Rams.
I'm going to take the Steelers here.
Minnesota Vikings at the Dallas Cowboys. Going with them boys.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting one to watch. I'm going Cowboys here, but the Vikings really need a win. So it'll be a fun game to watch.
And then we have the 7-2 Seattle Seahawks at my 8-0 number one team in power rankings across the board. Number one team in DVOA. The San Francisco 49ers. They're 6.5 point favorites in this matchup, and they're going to win, but it'll be a close one.
Yeah, I'm going Niners here. I think it'll be a competitive game. I don't think it's going to be a blowout by any means.
Be the battle of the offenses.
We've said this before, and I've paid a little bit more attention to Seattle. One, because of the Tampa Bay game recently, and then two, just because,
I mean, they're
I have Sunday
7-2.
Ticket, and like they never look great in wins. You know what I'm saying? Like they never really look dominant. Whereas the Niners, oh my Lord, like this year, what happened? They just went. The Nick Bosa acquisition, I think, just immediately paid dividends, and I think
this week, Juszczyk comes back, Joe Staley comes back.
Mm-hmm.
We lost Quan Alexander for the year, which sucks.
Oh no, that's a season-ending injury for him, because I know he got injured.
He's on the IR, out for the rest of the year. Drake Greenlaw will step in, a pretty impressive rookie this year.
It just stinks for. God, that hurts, man. Because I like Quan Alexander a lot. Like when he left,
he's been great this year.
I wasn't mad because I was like, the Bucks couldn't pay him. If they wanted to, they couldn't have paid him. So go get your money, dude, and go play on a good team. And you know, he's been really good for them this year. I know I've talked to multiple 49ers fans, and they're like, wow, we didn't know how good this Quan Alexander guy was. I'm like, yeah, because he played on a lot of bad teams in Tampa.
First play of the season, the Buccaneers ran right up the middle of, I think, Peyton Barber, and he completely, absolutely stuffed it. And I was like, I'm in love right there.
Yeah,
That's it.
He's amazing. You know, he's a lot like Gerald McCoy was for a long portion of his career, where because he played on so many bad teams, people kind of slept on how good he was. It's like the Archie Manning effect, basically. You know, like you play on a lot of bad teams, people forget how good you are. But yeah, that's going to do it for DCD 54. So as always, I want to remind you guys, t-shirt link is always in the description. If you buy one of those, we get about $6. So you can even get like decals and other stuff. But if you want a decal for the show, like DM me on Twitter and I'll sell one to you real cheap. Anyway, in addition to that, Patreon. Lots of news there. So you can check out our Patreon and support us for as little as $1 a month. Get early access to shows, some other perks like being able to suggest a movie for the Patreon pick every 3 weeks. But I want to thank our current patrons. We've got a new one, Dumbest Sphinx. He joined the egg tier, which is my favorite tier because it's only $1 a month.
The first egg.
Yeah, he's the first egg, dude. So yeah, like I said, it's a really good tier for just $1 a month, 25 cents an episode. You can help out the show. Got the Andy tier, $5 a month. Bobby's in that one, and then we had Daniel move up to the gold tier. So Andy, you need to DM him and figure out what he wants to stream with us.
Yeah, you have to wait a month unless he's already paid it. I don't know how Patreon works.
I will verify that, but I'm pretty sure he already paid for it. So we'll get. I
mean,
that
not to be
all
like
sorted
stingy.
out.
It's. I mean, I don't really care.
I think well, Daniel runs a Patreon for his podcast, so he definitely knows how it is. But we have Jared and Daniel in the gold tier, and we want to thank all of our Patreon backers for their support. But like I said, you could join in for $1 a month. I really love the gold tier too because it makes us stream with you. we stream a game of your choice with you, and the World of Warcraft stream with Andy. Oh my god, it was
that's the only
so
one's
good.
happened because Jared's just like stacking them up.
Jared's stacking them up.
Do like a week of streams.
We will pay up, man. I've told Jared the other day when I was streaming, I was like, Jared, you name a date and a time, and we'll be there. We know we owe you. So, yeah, that's our Patreon details. And then if you can't support us monetarily, that's cool. You can always leave us an iTunes review, and if you leave us an iTunes review, I'll give you a shout out on the show. Oh yeah, finally, deadchannelduo.com. If you're wondering if we're on other platforms, we probably are because we're on like almost everything now. If you go to deadchannelduo.com, there's a link right at the top to every destination. We're on Spotify, YouTube, iTunes, etc. Andy, anything else you want to say, man?
I kind of want to drag us on for 1 minute and 7 seconds to make the episode exactly an hour long.
Hey everyone, Alex here. I hate to interrupt Andy complaining about the Red Sox, but we forgot to mention the DCD Film Club pick from our Patreon backers for DCD 55. It's American Psycho. Should be good. Back to Andy.
When this comes out, the Red Sox, JD Martinez didn't opt out of his deal, which means they're probably going to trade Mookie Betts because we have this dumb, for some reason, making a salary cap in a sport that doesn't have salary cap. So
Wait,
Mookie Betts will probably leave.
They're adding a salary cap?
No, the Red Sox are like, we're not going to spend X amount of money.
Oh.
And since JD didn't opt out, no money.
Oh, so they're basically pulling like what the Yankees did after the old man Steinbrenner passed away, sadly. Like when his sons took over.
Because, you know, the owner of the team is also the owner of Liverpool, and they just won a championship, the Champions League, and they're the best team in soccer right now. And we have 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bye!